All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Two Planker Podcast. I'm your host, Ethan Schaefer, and today on the show, we got Seamus Flanagan. And Seamus, thank you for joining us, dude.
Dude, yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate it a lot and listen to the podcast and I like what you're doing. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited for this one. This is gonna be cool. There's some good stuff to talk about. I want to start with I reached out to you and you're like, I'm super down, but I'm on a street trip right now. So could you tell everyone about that street trip that you're on, where you were at, who you were with?
Yeah, man, of course. Let's see. I just got back from Minnesota. I was there for 2 weeks and I was up there with like Benny, Cal, Egan, Emmett with Vishnu and Ganoza and Stuvie. And dude, we had a balling ass time, got some good ass clips, and that new child labor movie is gonna be hot for sure.
Oh, that's funny, dude. Um, I had a viewer question right off the bat, actually, um, and I wanted to see if this tied into that trip at all. Nick, he said thoughts on Edmonton street spots, and he also described Edmonton as a shithole. So I want to see what your thoughts are and if you agree with that.
Yeah, we were there earlier this year as well. We were there in January, and man, it's definitely different than I guess most cities around here. They got a lot of wood rails there. It's kind of smoggy. It's worse than Salt Lake, and like I don't know. It's just kind of nasty there. It's not very clean, I guess you could say. So
Yeah.
you're getting grimy in the streets out there in Edmonton for sure, you could say.
That's funny, bro. And that just, I mean, it reminds me that I literally just interviewed Garrett. And I think in that episode, I was like, all right, we're going to take a little bit of a child labor break after this. And then, boom, here we are talking about the same stuff all over again. But it's all good, dude. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure.
Everyone's
Garrett and
interconnected.
Labor, the boys, yeah, it's sick.
Yeah. Cool. So let's talk about early life a little bit. And I gotta admit, I was like a little bit excited to talk to you when I saw that you were doing like interviews at like 11. I was like, oh, this is so easy. Like this guy's been getting interviewed for like the past like 15 years. Like we're chilling. So
Yeah, I'm probably pretty shitty at it still.
nah, you're good, bro. So yeah, tell us about the family because that's pretty relevant to your ski career, I'd say. Tell us about growing up, where you from, all that good stuff.
Yeah, of course. I'm from Minnesota in the Twin Cities, right there in Minneapolis, and grew up riding Highland Hills. So shouts out to all the people from Highland Hills, or if you're riding there, yeah, Minnesota ski scene is fucking awesome. And yeah, my brother's P Bone, Patty Flanagan. He's a skier dude. He's fucking awesome. And my older brother Aidan, he's man, he's crazy too. So he's a snowboarder. He did a bunch of crazy urban stuff as well, and he definitely has showed me crazy spots he's done, and big inspo for my brother. And obviously P Bone's one of my favorite skiers. I love watching him, and anything he does, I'm like obviously beyond hype for him. And plus, he's my brother, so I'm twice as stoked for him. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so tight, dude. So, your middle child, what's like the age gap between all you guys?
Um, P Bone is 24. I'm 26, and my older brother's 28. So
Sick.
2 years apart.
Yeah, that's super tight. And so it's so funny, man. I feel like I see your guys' whole lives progressing doing these research because like I just get all these links of all these videos. So he Aiden was making videos of you guys like straight from the get-go, it seems like.
Yeah, no, for sure. He how do I say this? He was like super into filming pretty young. He got a camera like I don't know, around 10, and then got to like behind the editing and everything. And Patty and I, we like could film each other and stuff, but he would like edit the videos for us, like off the bat in the beginning, and we'd do the same for him, or at least try to film him and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, shouts out to Aiden doing that stuff back in who knows when that was.
You guys were like 10 years old or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so before we like get into that and like early career stuff, because you were sponsored so young, but like how did you guys even find your all three of you find your way into snow sports? I mean, Minneapolis is cold, but like still not a fully traditional route. Like if it was traditional, you guys would all be playing hockey and like being awesome
Yeah,
at it. Yeah.
definitely. I had to choose between hockey and skiing, and what got us into skiing was from honestly my older brother skateboarding, and we'd just go to the skate park, and I think I was going there when I was like 3, honestly, like dropping into the mini ramp and like pumping around. And I think that eventually the cold winters transitioned into getting into the snow from skateboarding. So then my dad, he grew up skiing as well, so he just naturally took a skiing, and that's where it all blew up, I guess.
Yeah, dude, just like skiing out the womb basically.
Yeah, no, I think I started at like 3 or 4, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
Yeah,
Benny Schwazy, am I pronouncing that correctly? Your buddy?
yeah.
So he actually asked a question that related to your early childhood, apart from the one that you told me about. He said, "What's it like growing up in Minnesota? What's it like growing up in the Minnesota ski community during the Eric Iberg era?"
Oh, that's a good question. Um, Iberg was definitely like a little before I was fully around, but
Mhm.
yeah, I remember he would come to Highland, and like the ski team Nybora, he was good friends with them, and he had his like special eye for Patty. He gave Patty all this gear and shit, and like Iberg would like come through and just like come hang out with Nybora and get all the kids stoked, and it was sick for sure. And, like the whole inspired movement, and like all just really everybody just in Minnesota just crushing it at the time.
Yeah. So I actually don't know much of the history about Inspired. So that's all Midwest grown.
No, no, I mean like they just did all the branches through like
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
different series where they do it like Oregon or Minnesota and stuff like that.
Yeah. There were some great, like in the those all those videos I was talking about. There's some great inspired videos. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it was sick. Matt Koskinen did a bunch of that stuff as well, so
yeah.
shouts out to him.
That's so tight. And so who were like the older heads at the mountain and like in the community when you were younger? Like who were you looking up to?
Let's see. Well, like the first 360 I ever did, it was like in front of Tommy G, who's like a really good snowboarder, Tommy Gasmin. So
Yeah.
that was pretty funny. He's out at Highland. But some of the people I looked up to were like definitely like Zach Mertz and like Cody Ling and uh like Michael Hibbs and dude like Bill Hickey, like I don't know. There's so many people like that I was inspired by it at a young age there.
Yeah. All right, that's kind of like the setting. That's where we're at. Now let's get into like your journey with it. So honestly, dude, I'm watching these videos and I feel like I'm looking at like Walker Shreds footage. Like you were so young and you were so good. And like everyone's saying that you've been on Jibberish forever. So like do you want to give us like a little rundown of like your career, like how you got into everything? Where I mean, you could just start wherever you want because I don't know where to start because
Um
there's so much stuff.
yeah, I mean I guess a good start would be I made a Solomon Jib Academy video,
Mhm.
and that's when like Solomon was huge, and they had if you won a video part or the contest stop, they'd fly you to Mammoth and stuff. So I made a Jib Academy edit with Jibberish on and stuff, and one of the owners saw me in the video and was like, "Yo, like super sick, like good stuff, man. Like, what's like your address? Like, can I send you a hoodie?" So then I just wore the hoodie for like literally every single day when I was like 12, and got a bunch of clips, and then went to Mammoth, and they were like, "Can we send you another hoodie? Like, you're crushing it." And then I got some clips for like Sammy Carlson's movie. It was like Can't Stop is that movie, what the name is. And I guess that's after that year that put me on the jib team, and I was like 12 or something.
Crazy, man.
And then that year after that is when we filmed for right back where we started for Jibberish.
Uh,
And I didn't even know I didn't even know I was making a Jibberish part or anything. I was just like young, like Brandon Husak. He's shouts out to him. He filmed me like, oh, I don't know, from like 12 to 18. And then so yeah, he made my Jibberish part, and that was when I was like 13 and right back where we started. And then I guess since then I've been on the Jibberish family. So yeah.
dude. Yeah, you had this interview with Jibberish. I actually can't read it right now because they're like doing stuff for their website. But it says Jibberish. You were on Jibberish since 2009 at 13 years old. That's
Yeah.
dude. That's crazy. Like so. I mean, you're 13, so it's kind of hard to have like it's kind of hard to have a super accurate perception of the world. But like, was Jibberish established at the time, or like because obviously now
Oh,
it's
that's
huge.
their I think that was their golden era years when I got
Yeah.
there when that movie was made, and even the year before that.
Hmm.
Like they were definitely known. They had T Wall, Henrik, Matt Walker, Mike Clark, fucking dude, all the dudes. It was
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
Damn, bro. And in there at 13 years old, that's crazy. We're gonna at some point we're gonna do a full if I once I get in touch with one of these gibberish dudes, and once they finally answer my DMs, we're doing a full gibberish episode. But that's for a separate time. So
That'd be dope.
yeah, it'd be so sick. So 13, are they just flowing you gear? Are they giving you cash? Like what's that deal look like for you at the time?
They sent me like a couple hoodies and some t-shirts.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember when they told me the package was coming, I'd get out of school, just sit by the window waiting for the mailman to come, and there was like a couple days it didn't come, and I was like, fuck, like ah. And then like it came, and I was like, yeah, I was like jumping up and down, screaming, and I was like, this is so dope. Like, yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Um Yeah, that's just so young. It's nuts for such like a legit brand. And so when did Armada come into the fold for you too?
After that Jibberish, right back where we started, I saw him and put me on after. And then Brandon Husak who filmed me for right back where we started, became the team manager for Armada. And
Yeah.
he was like, dog, like they're blowing up. Like now's the time. Like, yeah. And so it was the perfect time to transition to Armada, and never looked back since.
That's so sick. So they're flowing you gear, you're filming, and this is where my research cuts out. Like I have those early years that I knew about, and then it's like a huge gap up until 5 years ago. So like, what were you doing for those next years afterwards? Like from like your early teenagers to your 20s. Were you still in school? Like
Yeah,
I don't know
so
what your whole
like
school
let's
career is like.
see. After I lived in Minnesota till I was like in high school.
Uh,
So I moved out to Colorado when I turned 14 or 15, and then went to the ski academy in Vail for a couple of years, and competed doing slopestyle and all that. So I was like doing rev tours and USSA and USASA and doing all of that. So I was a big like comp head when I was in high school, you could say.
yeah. Were you trying to go like career wise? Was that like the goal? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like go to Do Tour X Games, all that stuff. Was that your goal?
I think at one point, definitely, I was like, yeah, it'd be sick. Like, I was doing the Aspen Open. Like, I was like, yeah, if you win that, you could get in the X Games. But I had no chance. I mean, I was just like, jump kid out of Midwest, like just having fun. And so, but like, I definitely like be sick to compete and do a tour. I maybe could do like both way switch times or something, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like anything. It's not really there for me. I kind of like to ski on my own terms.
Yeah. Were you like were you public high school the whole time, or did you go when you moved to Colorado? Did you do like an academy type of gig?
Yeah, so I did the Vail Academy for 2 years, and then I was just kind of like branching away from competing. So now I was like skiing POW more. So I just went to the public school, and for like junior and senior year of high school, I only like skied park like a couple times a year, and just really just like started getting my big mountain game together, and like skiing POW and just like all around the mountain like every fucking day. So that made me like appreciate skiing a lot in a more different way. So I was like getting a couple clips, but it's like, to be honest, it's hard to film like powder and all that stuff. And I was kind of getting used to all the ropes. So that was like a good year to just become a big mountain skier for me.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, I relate to that so much right now. Like we were talking about, I'm from Connecticut, so it's just small mountains forever. And like, if you're a small mountain, the park skiing is like the only thing to do that keeps it interesting. But like, once you see those big mountains for the first time, a part of you's like, fuck park skiing. I just want to go like ride everything else for a
Oh
while.
yeah. Once you touch some powder, it's like, oh gosh, like skiing pow, it's one of my favorite things in the entire world for sure.
Dude, it's so
Makes
su
me so happy. Yeah,
it's just
every
so
time.
forgiving. It feels great. Like you don't have to like destroy yourself on metal. Like
Yeah,
it is
right.
pretty
Yeah.
nice.
So yeah, I got appreciation for POW pretty young, and I think I just like definitely was still doing park, but I was just having fun, just skiing the mountain and hanging out with friends in high school, and kind of just living a normal, I guess, high school life and just skiing and stuff. And then once I got out of high school, I moved to Summit County
Yeah.
and lived there for 7 years, and that's when I started picking up park a lot more. And again,
Yeah. So before we get to probably what was the golden era of Summit County, like your parents had they had three boys that are just like running all over the place, hucking themselves off wherever. What were their thoughts on like what you guys were doing?
I think my mom tried to just not know what we were doing, and she would make fun of all the trick names like Triple Indy or like
Yeah.
whatever she would come up with. And that, like, yeah, she just like gets so worried. She doesn't really want to know, but she supports us. She would still come to the contest and watch us, and you
Yeah.
know. But and then my dad, yeah, he grew up like skiing and skateboarding and golfing and all that. So he kind of got us all into what he likes. So yeah,
That's so tight.
shouts out to my dad for bringing us out at a pretty young age.
Yeah. That's so sick. And was there any pressure from them at any point like, all right, yeah, skiing's great. How does being a lawyer sound or how does being a doctor sound like
Yeah, oh yeah, they were like, when I got out of high school and was living in Summit, I had like a year to figure it out, and then after that, they're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I'm just skiing. Like I'm having fun. I'm young. Like I know, like I can't ski the way I'm skiing in the next what down the lines." And I just was like, "I'm cool to take the chances. I know it's gonna hurt my future, but I'll figure it out. Like it's all gonna come
it'll work
aligned."
out?
I was pretty.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get into that summit move. So you finish high school, public school in Colorado or in like the Vale area, it seems like. And so you moved to Summit. So what time period are we talking about right now? Because Summit has changed a lot, but there was a really
Yeah,
great period of time.
I think I moved there when I graduated from high school. So that was like 2015.
Okay.
And I moved in August and then did some CMC for a little bit
Yep.
for like a year. And then I was like, yeah, like I I don't know if I want to do homework and do all that right now. So I was like, yeah, I don't know. I was like 19, just I guess out away from home, skiing at Keystone, Breck, Copper, and yeah, when all the parks were unbelievable.
Yeah. So the parks are like just so on point at that time. And you're still sponsored by Jibberish and Armada all through that time, correct?
I gibberish for sure, and then Armada, yeah, they would still like. I think there was one year where they're like, "What's going on?" When I was skiing the big mountain stuff,
Yeah.
because I wasn't really putting out any content.
Yeah.
And then they had some different team managers switch, and I had to kind of regain some connections. So I mean, Armada's definitely had my back since they've had me. So shouts out to them too.
Yeah. So you already like kind of got your foot in the door, which is more than like some people have like leaving high school. Some people leave high school, they're like, all right, now I'm looking for sponsors and all that. But you already had some sponsors going into it. So what was your approach for like making it work and like I don't know, just like you gotta make money somehow. You gotta
Yeah,
like what was
honestly,
your
like
approach?
I've always just like made my own money, honestly. Like
Huh.
Jibberish, they help us a lot with the Strictly stuff and like filming and all that. They'll give us a budget. And then Armada's just gave me gear throughout my whole life, and I'm just down the ride for them because they like make some of the more better gear, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I've had a couple different companies approach me,
Mhm.
and it's definitely up in the air, but I don't know if I want to do that because I'm just like riding with Armada
Yeah. So you were just full ski bumming it in Summit.
for sure. I was washing dishes at Red Mountain Grill, skiing every fucking day
That's
when
that's
I was
bad.
19. And
Yeah.
then I moved up to like on the line and started cooking there for like I worked there for a couple of years, and just allowed me to just ski every day and then eat free food and pay for the rent, I guess.
Yeah. Damn. Underrated part of working in the kitchen. You cover all your food expenses. I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah, I'd come off the hill and be like, all right, like make some tacos, throw some steak on the grill, and then have like a burger later. Like, you'll eat definitely good. They're like, you can eat as much as you want. I was like, hell yeah.
That's funny, bro. So,
Yeah.
so your story kind of ties in with like the start of Strictly because we talked about this. I've talked about this with Egg in the Pete episode, Pete Kukov. If anybody does not know what I mean when I say Egg, but so those first couple videos, you, Zaner, Calvin, those dudes, like those were gibberish edits at the beginning, correct? Like that crew of people was
Um,
making videos for gibberish.
yeah, we definitely like when they got put on, we were putting out a couple edits together for sure.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the first time that that crew's all together now.
Yeah, definitely. I was chilling with Zaner, I think, and Calvin before they got put on with Gibberish a
Mhm.
little bit, and then once they got put on, we just came, I guess, like really good friends.
That's that's awesome. so
Yeah,
so those first couple videos, let me see what I got here. Apart from 5 years ago, gibberish, 70-30. You got banged up. You got any thoughts about that period of time filming those videos? Like, did you
yeah,
just know that like
definitely.
something like you guys were making something kind of leveling up a little bit by making those videos?
Yeah, I think this is definitely that time period. What banged up was 16 or 17. That's when I was like 19 or 20 or something, or 70-30. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
70-30 was, yeah, around that year when I was like 19 or 20. And that's the year they got put on. So I remember I went to Minnesota and I met up with Patty and filmed with some of his friends, and then used my clips for 70-30. They were like, let's make a gibberish movie.
yeah.
So then, yeah, that's how that happened for 70-30. And then banged up, we definitely had a vision for that year. And gibberish covered like some gas for that, or like mostly gas. And yeah, we just filmed, and I don't, what were we even filming on? I think like a GH4 or something. That's the year where we're like, we got to start filming like better. Like, this is definitely happening. And then, oh, let's see, banged up year. Yeah, that was fun because we went on a trip to Minnesota. We went to Boston and filmed around Colorado.
That's so tight. Was that your first like well not banged up, but like 70-30 and like had you filmed have you did you take urban skiing super serious before then? Had you filmed a lot of, before then or was this like your first venture into like driving from spot to spot to spot in the freezing cold, building all day and all that?
No, that's definitely a good question. I think after 70/30 was when I was like, oh, like I can definitely start taking these more part tricks to bigger spots and stuff. And I was like, all right, like competing isn't really my thing, and I can kind of show my unique side through street skiing and stuff. So yeah, that's when I kind of got more of a, I guess, vision and hungriness for it then.
Yeah. Dude, just based on these street videos, like, were you a menace in the park, just going huge, or were you like keeping it? Because if you're a comp guy, like everyone, this is a big complaint of competitions. Everyone kind of learns the same tricks at the same time, and or were you just like doing your own thing in the park,
I
like, just going
honestly,
huge?
that's a good question, and I always knew off the bat, like, don't skip tricks. Like,
Mm.
if there's a lot of kids out there these days that'll do like a double cork 1080 and they can't even write three.
Yeah,
Like, seriously, like I knew that was gonna not be my problem. So I honestly, my progression wasn't as fast as everybody, but I learned how to like slide both ways and both way two ons and stuff like that. And then yeah, I guess that helped me down the line because I can't really necessarily do dubs, but I can do like, both way switch nines or, you know, switch tens and both way forward nines when a lot of kids out there can't even, write three.
yeah. It's not about how fast you're doing everything. It's just like, dude, like if you're doing that along the way, like learning tricks, like forward switch, natural, unnatural for everything. Oh my God,
Yeah, that's
you're
how I looked
unstoppable.
at it. I
Yeah,
was like, I can't write seven until I do a switch or like a right five or whatever, or
yeah,
like I can't do a right seven until I do like a switch on natty five or something like that.
yeah,
So I was like, I want to definitely learn the tricks of the way like it probably should be learned.
yeah. Damn, that's like a pretty disciplined way of looking at something that's, for the most part, is pretty just like loose, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it was. It definitely was. And like I didn't have necessarily like the ability to go over 1080s and stuff. So I was like, I'll keep it, steezy and cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's easier to not go to 1080 if you're like, hey, I'm just taking my time on these switch unnatural fives. All right, I'll get to 1080 eventually.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, yeah, it definitely worked that way because you can be comfortable looking over both shoulders going switch or
Yeah,
off the takeoff. You're like, all right, I feel pretty good.
yeah. So after these first two videos, where do things go from here? Because then we're getting into bigger videos, more effort put into the filming, probably more thought put into the spots. Like, how did everything progress after like these first couple like big projects?
I think after banged up, um, we that's when like we didn't really know what we were filming for. Like we just were filming, and I think Pete and like Mildenberger were like, yeah, like let's do strictly stuff, like let's create that thing. And I think that's the year Welcome came out, and
Mhm.
I was like pretty busy with like just I couldn't really afford to travel and get clips and stuff. So I think I kind of just worked that year. I started coaching as well for the Breck team, and yeah, I got on like a couple trips, but nothing like enough to get a couple clips.
Yeah,
So, and that's when I wasn't really like reaching out for like yeah a budget to travel and stuff too. So
yeah,
like I still haven't really even done that as much. I gotta probably should work on that, but yeah, I mean yeah, it just helps when you can get a little budget so I can get out away from work and actually go skiing.
yeah. So I'm gonna venture into some territory here. We can cut this part out if this doesn't go well. So I was on New Schoolers, and there's people have this sense. I don't know, and I don't mean to blow this out of proportion, say that this is a widely held thing, but people have the sense that you were like inched out of Strictly at the beginning, that
Oh,
and that you're like excluded in some way. Do you feel like that was the case at all?
maybe a little bit. Um, but it was like I kind of didn't really know what the vibe was at the time.
Mhm.
There wasn't really like a vibe being created for Shamo. So I don't know if what was going on, but I was working and they were definitely getting clips, and it was kind of it was a hard time for me probably too.
Yeah. So do you feel like, I mean, this is why I did wanted to ease into this, because there's that dynamics between friends and people that still work together. Like, do you look back on that time where you're like, damn, I wish I was included more, or you're like, nah, I was working and like saving up money and whatever.
Um, I I think yeah, it would have helped me a little more just
Hmm.
because like being like more eyes on you, I guess, with any clip is always good. But yeah, I think it definitely could have helped me more with maybe promoting myself with getting more money. But other than that, whatever.
Yeah. Is that something you guys have talked about before? Like between all you guys, I don't want to like bring up shit that
Yeah, we
hasn't been talked
definitely,
about.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
and they know too, and I know, and like it's all good. Like we laugh about it and stuff, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely like, you know, could have maybe gone on like a bigger ride for a second there, but I was busy with my own shit.
Yeah. And this is the part that I think is interesting, especially for the younger guys that listen to this podcast. A large segment of this is like people in their 20s, but then there's also people that are like it's still in high school listening to this. It's like all these projects that seem larger than life are driven by kids that are like literally teenagers sometimes. You're talking about like 19, 20, 21. That's a period of time where no one knows what the fuck is going on. And they certainly do not know how to like deal with like other people's priorities. Like, it's just like
Yeah.
it's a difficult time to work with a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
other
you're
young
like
people.
I agree. Yeah, that's when you're crazy. That's why you do crazy shit. You
Yeah.
don't have uh, you're not old enough to think about like, no, if I break my hand, I'm not gonna be able to go to work tomorrow. Or
Yeah.
like stuff like that, You're not thinking about that when you're 18. You're thinking about what's the next hot shit.
Yeah. So that's cool that you guys have talked about that before because I did want to like people on news stories were like tight about it. And I was like, is this true? Because I've never heard about this before. But like I guess it comes with the territory of dealing with like a bunch of young dudes with big personalities. It's like shit gets hard sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And like, yeah, definitely. It's just I guess everything you sometimes happens for a reason or doesn't, but
Yeah.
we all are good now and we've always been good, so it's
Yeah.
all chill.
There we go. Boom. Weeded into some unknown territory. Um, so I mean, those years you're living, you're pursuing an untraditional path. Things aren't always easy. How'd you like what got you through? How'd you kind of navigate that time of like, damn, like this isn't going my way. Some things are going my way. Like, how did you work through that time?
Um I just like honestly just care like the most about skiing.
Mhm.
Could not really care about as much cloud as a lot of heads out there. So, I'm doing it for the love of it because I love it. So that's what's always like carried me to just keep on like skiing. I think just naturally from skiing, I get tired of doing that trick or this trick. So I'm always trying to push myself, and I think that's what keeps me just going, I guess. That's what you were kind of asking, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh well, you're like tying back to what we said before. It's like, all right, I feel like I'm being a little bit excluded from all the fun that's going on, and then that happens to people all the time. And but so where do you turn? And basically you're saying, I just focused on my skiing. I just wanted to be good and just keep skiing.
Yeah, and I just wanted to get better. So like, yeah, like when I'm ready to go skiing, I'm ready to pop off in front of the camera.
Yeah. Did you pick up any? Were you like coaching at the time? Like in because
Yeah, I
yeah,
definitely was. That's how I transitioned from the kitchen to coaching
yeah.
at around like 23 or so.
Okay, that's tight. So
Or I think I started coaching around 21, but I was doing it for part-time, and then once I turned 23, I've been doing it a little more full-time each year.
all right, sick. We can get into that a little bit more because that's like kind of more recent stuff. Um, so when did the filming come back into the fold after you were on the outs for a little bit? When did you start getting in with? I mean, like two of the biggest crew. You're part of two of the biggest crews right now, filming with filming with everyone. It seems like. So how did you work your way back in, and like what was that transition back, reconnecting with everyone like?
I think after COVID, I was like, damn, like I just like haven't. I know like I have a lot more potential to do what I love, so I wanted to make a part where I was actually happy with because a lot of the other parts I was like, yeah, like they're cool, but I know I got a lot more potential and I want to test what I could do. And I think after COVID, that's the winter. Like I got money from the government, honestly, and I just like went off and skied, and that honestly kept me out away from Summit County and on the roads. So
Yeah.
I shouts out to COVID because that most gutter year was budgeted off of that.
So, okay, so this is like tying into like super recent. So that like those were like the years leading up to COVID, just to like create a solid timeline. And then
Okay,
COVID,
okay, true. Yeah, I
yeah,
might have
just
been
just help
jumping.
my mental framework and just every and the people listening. So those are the years leading up to COVID, and then COVID was the year that like everything changed. And so during quarantine, is that when you guys were out filming Most Gutter, just like going around to these cities?
It was after the really gnarly time.
Yeah,
Like,
so after lockdown.
yeah, that's when they were like in Canada and stuff. And then what movie came out of Strictly? I can't think of it off the top of my head right now, but it was like there's I can't I'm sound dumb as hell right now, not being able to say it, but
I
they
was
came
welcome.
back from Canada because it was so gnarly. And then the next year was when I jumped on, I guess.
Yeah, so right after Welcome or Bermuda.
It was after, yeah, one of those two.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
forget the timeline, honestly.
yeah. So how did you? I mean, how did you reconnect with those guys?
Um, I think it was because they were like, it was like more opening for more space in the crew, I guess, with
Mhm.
the three movies being made. So that like Sam and Calvin really wanted to like recreate Banged Up. And we were thinking of calling it Banged Up like two, or I think Most Gutter was like actually the vision the whole time, but they wanted to make a Banged Up that was like where this is our baby child. We filmed this, we edited this, we worked our hardest. Like that was our vision. Like we're gonna try our best. And Jibberish gave us they were the presenting sponsors. So I mean shouts out to them because that's how that movie got created off of them. And the other sponsors too.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I don't know. My mind's blown because I don't believe everything I see at New Schoolers, but yeah, I think it's cool. Like being on the outs and then being on the ins, and then dropping like one of the sickest segments ever. What like what the fuck, dude? That's awesome. That's so sick.
Well, like I guess the year before Most Gutter, that's when I coached uh for the Breck team full time for slopestyle. So like I was just like skiing slopestyle with the kids, working on my tricks, and I'd be like, "Oh, this would be fun to bring this to the streets or something like that." And I think from skiing park, like a lot that year made me like a lot better, and I was like feeling confident on my skis.
Mhm.
So then when Most Gutter came, I was like, "Word, like let's ride two onto this bitch. I'll be good."
Dude, so let's talk about Most Gutter. All right. There's some insane clips in here. Uh let's do the screen share. I'm sorry for the audio people. The audio only people. We're doing screen share. We're gonna pull up some clips because there's some clips that can't be overlooked in this movie, and there's a lot of viewer questions about them. So here we go, dude. Okay, so just busting out the biggest back four ever, bro. Not this clip.
Or the back two, safe lip on back two.
Oh
Shouts out
yeah.
to Tulsi Dan.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah, that
That is just so huge. That's easily, I don't know, how many feet is that? Like a 30 to 40 foot drop off that thing, bro?
It's tall, definitely. It feels that tall. I'd say it's probably like maybe around, I don't know, dude. It's
So
hard to
hard.
say. I don't want to put numbers out there. Maybe 25 to 30, but from the bottom, you should almost pause it from the bottom. Where
Yeah.
like, yeah, because I can almost count it from up on the bottom angle there. Because like that fence is probably like 4 feet, but we'll just measure it to the ledge there. So that's like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then that's probably like a 25 foot from the closeout to the ground, but then I take it a little further. So maybe like 30.
Bro, a little further. You boosted off this thing. This is
Yeah.
insane, bro. Yeah. So just watching it one more time. So what's the backstory behind that clip? I mean, that is I
Um,
fear I use this too much, but that's a timeless clip. That is an insane, huge trick right there.
yeah, that's definitely there's a good story behind this. This was before I met up with Sam and those boys. So I was filming in Minnesota with my little brother and Zoot Space homies. And I was just like hanging out with Patty and the Zoot homies, getting a couple clips, and they were kind enough to get me clipped up like a couple times that week. So like you can kind of tell the spots like they're filmed a little different and the quality's different.
Mm.
And like Oliver and Sanch filmed this clip. But yeah, that was in Duluth, and my older brothers hit that spot and my younger brother. So that's one of the spots we've all hit together. But yeah, that closeout, I don't know. I could literally hear the wind like when I was falling off of it, like it was insane. The amount of like time coming off of that rail. And like, dude, I probably hit it like 20 times after that back too. And I was just like, all right, this is good enough. Like I like couldn't walk the next day. I was destroyed.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
But I
What?
think I got a clip the next day, but I literally felt like an 80-year-old man.
Yeah, so is that so the back two is first, naturally. And then so it was how much later did you say it was that you got the back six?
Probably like, dude, it was like 15 to 20 tries. I remember like hitting my face on my knee and like definitely like falling in the trees on the left on the landing a couple of times, like not locking in right, or
Yeah.
like literally like under rotating or like not getting like the proper like set for the six, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and the winch too, like at the time was like jerking. So like you would get jerked on the in run and the speed would be different every time.
that's so funny, bro. And so but it was same day. Like one day you didn't have to come back to the spot to get it.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
think I pushed the landing the day before and then went and made breakfast for everybody the next morning. And I was like, all right, like this is the day I do the back six.
Yeah. Damn, bro.
I claimed it before I went there. I was like, I got a back six. They're all
Yeah.
like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, dude, I gotta do it.
So I actually do want to ask a viewer question right here because this ties in great. Um, so Benny, child labor Benny, he said Seamus has hit some of the biggest street spots I've ever seen in person. He says, "What is going through your head when you're hitting a spot like that?" He says, "Most underrated skier out there."
Oh, damn, Benny. Thank you, brother. Love you, G. Um, damn, I don't know. I'm just like, I think I like want to see my limits, and
Hmm.
I'm kind of trying to see where I can kind of stop myself from being, So I'm like, I guess trying to explore my limits, and then through my head, I'm like, all right, like I think you got this and shit, like, and
Yeah,
then like if you start second guessing yourself, it's just gets risky and riskier. But it's like good to do that too at times. But I think you just gotta just give it a shot to know. And
yeah,
like once you try it, you're in spot jail. You got your shoes on. You got
Yeah.
your boots on. It's time to get the clip. But I've, I don't know. Have I walked away from something?
Well, here,
I'll probably have a vision for a spot and be like, oh, I want to switch to this, and then get there and I'm like, oh, like I can only probably just hit this. This thing's gnarly or something,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
something like that.
So that's
Or
when your
but
brain,
I don't even know what's going through my head, honestly, though.
yeah.
Like I'm
Well,
just like, I just want to get a clip, I guess.
well, that's when your brain is on. Like when that winch is running in, like literally while you're doing it, are you like music in, like turn your brain off? Like what do you think? Like how do you approach? Because that's what LJ says. LJ says that when he's doing something crazy, he's just like envisions it. He's like, all right, I could probably do this, and then that's like the last thought that he has, and it's no more thinking after that. It's just doing. Feel
Yeah.
like you do
So
something
like
similar?
before, yeah, I mean, like I think I just know I'll like either have it or not. And if I don't, I'll take a slam. If it's bad, I'll walk away and probably won't try it again. But I'm like, at least I'm gonna like I'll get the vision. And if I know I can do it, most of the time I'm like, word, I got this.
That's so sick.
So I'm like, let's I know I got this. Like that's what's going in my head. You don't want to be thinking anything else. Like, let's go.
Yeah. And so Vinny Crudo, Vibe Crudo, how do you continue to keep trying at spots that kick your ass? Like when you're just getting beat to hell, how do you keep going?
On that back six, that I remember I was getting so worked. Like every time before that and hearing the wind in my ears dropping off of that. And like what kept me going was like, dude, I had the vision. Like, let's get this shit going. Like I could still move, I could still walk. I'm still like, okay. Sometimes I'll take a break and maybe, just chill out, maybe smoke a spliff and then come back. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just like, I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm just hungry. And I played football when I was super young too. So I remember like taking some gnarly hits, being smaller. And I think that like got me, I don't know, beast like, I guess, or not like trying to hype myself up, but just like, I don't know, high like pain tolerance or something.
Yeah. That's
And knowing how to fall too. Like if you kind of, I mean, everyone falls, but if you're good at falling, that's another skill of skiing.
mhm. Wow, man. That spot is just it's just so wicked. Holy shit. And so what was the reaction from the people there with you? Because that is an abnormally big spot. That's not some like crazy long rail. Like that is a huge drop.
They were
Huge.
scared. They were scared.
Like, are people scared being around you while you're doing this?
They were like, bro, you are insane. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, I gotta get this, my dogs.
Yeah. So is
They're
that
like,
more of like they're stoked for you, or are they more like I'm so glad that this is over?
it's a both. You
For
like,
sure,
yeah,
both.
definitely some of that shit. Like, always the first hit, whenever I do some of this shit, and everyone's quiet as hell. No one wants like, everyone's nervous. Um,
Yeah. Seamus isn't a fun guy to be around. He's a scary guy to be around at the spot.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely like when I'm hitting the spot, I'm pretty focused and like it's scary. And then when I'm done, I'm like, we're
Yeah.
chilling.
Are you prone to any wicked freakouts? You know, like there's those classic I
I
forget what
think when I
video.
was younger, I thought it was cool to do that shit. I'll
Like throw
more or
your
less
skis,
just
scream, all that.
I don't I'll just like I'll definitely yell like that bomb if I'm not making the rail. If I'm getting but it like when that happens too, I kind of pull over to the side and give myself a 5 minute break and I'm like, dude, like you're not supposed to ski like upset. Like
Mm.
you do this because it's fun. Like take a couple deep breaths and come back not up upset. And whenever I do that, I definitely ski better. And you don't want to stress yourself out. It shouldn't. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah. I've actually, think about it. I've never asked one of you guys this before, but it's like when you're doing something potentially hundreds of times trying to get the clip. Rarely it goes that much in a day, but like, you're doing it dozens of times in a day. Do you ever just step away for like a while and you're like, dude, I just need like some space from this? Because that's got to be mind numbing. Just hiking back up
Yeah.
every time.
Whenever I feel like whenever that happens, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna roll one up. I'm getting too upset,
Yeah.
and then come back to the spot. My little brother says he doesn't get how I do that, or like homies like laugh. I'm like, I gotta take a second and smoke one, and then it kind of just helps me like calm down, and then I don't know, helps with like healing my body, I guess, not being as sore, and then I feel a little more loosey goosey coming in the spot, a little more happy, and then I don't know, it definitely helps. If I'm
Yeah.
feeling tired, smoking other about it.
That's sick. All right. We'll move on to the next clip. Even though I could talk about that clip all day. That clip is awesome. All right, next clip we're doing is the battleship rail from Why Not? Some child labor action. So let's run the clip. There's you and Benny.
Yeah, my eyes are so funny in that little B-roll clip.
Yeah. And bang.
The
So
C trap rail. I don't
so
even really know what to call that rail.
yeah, this rail, let's see. You said on Instagram that you'd go back 3 times for this rail. Is that true?
I think I did though. It was because of the winch. With the child labor winch, we that trip, if you can tell, there aren't really like any winch clip or from that month or really whatever. But yeah, our winch was it was horrible. So I had to hit up Tucker, and he was kind enough to come out with Calvin, and I used his e-winch for that. And yeah, so I
Yeah.
had to come back because of, I guess, technical difficulties and stuff with the winch. But yeah, it took me a while though. That thing was like probably around 80 tries or so.
Dude, 80 tries is nuts. So how did you end up getting clips for strictly clips for child labor? Like, how are you choosing where stuff's going?
The most gutter year, I lived in Colorado,
Uh-huh.
and then after that summer, I moved to Utah actually, and I live in Salt Lake now. And I actually lived with Benny and Cal, and they were like, "Yeah, like we're going to Minnesota for the month. Like, you can get clips, you can get me in the movie, you can come in the car. Like, you're all good. Like, you're staying for free. The gas is free. You just gotta pay for food." And I was like, "Word, like, let's get it." So yeah, I remember I went there with January, and then I went straight with Strictly, and I like my body was so hurting during that delete segment. Like shit, after child labor for a full month, and then Strictly for a month, it was like 54 straight days I did that year.
Yeah. So before we like get back into this clip, so most gutter,
Yeah,
most
I'm getting
gutter,
off the rail.
we can go all over the place if we want. So most gutter, you're back with the Strictly guys. You're back filming. You have you have an insane part. Like, how are you feeling at that point? Were you like, are you like, fuck yeah, like I'm getting the respect I deserve? Like, boom, there's a Shamo part right there, and it's fire. Like, is that what the wave you were on?
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't like, I was like, yeah, like it'd be cool to like maybe get nominated for some awards or something like that. But whatever. I it's all fun for me, and I'm doing it for with my friends. And if
Yeah,
people are stoked on it, then I'm stoked on you too.
yeah. So you move in with Benny and Cal. That's quite the setup, bro. I just gotta say, what
Yeah,
what a
for
house,
sure.
dude.
Yeah, I still live with Cal. Benny lives with Canoza, but
Yep.
yeah, yeah, we had a good ass last winter. It was fun.
Yeah. So this clip's crazy. You said 80 tries on this clip.
I don't know, around maybe 50. I don't know.
Just
I
something
kind of
ridiculous, though.
it was a good amount of tries, and it was cold that day. It was like I don't know. It was like 4 degrees or something like that.
Yeah. That's wicked, man. Um, all right, next clip we're doing is the roof drop to the down flat down. Still on why not? We'll run the clip.
Yeah, that so I came off the roof and fell. That was first try when I tacoed or fell off in hot tub, I mean. And then the one that I made it was second try. Like,
Damn.
yeah. So I only hit that thing twice.
What was
And
the yeah, go ahead. Whatever you want to add to that.
my
That's
vision
insane.
originally was to do a back three swap on the DFD.
Yeah.
And it was like it was like looking gnarly for doing that. And then I got up on the roof and I was like, yeah, like this probably could go. We just got to put some snow down here. And yeah, I guess it went pretty well, and that was ended up being a banger clip. And yeah, that was a gnarly spot.
Damn, bro. How'd you guys scout out that spot? I always love,
That one,
dude.
T Hall hit that in his X Games spot, and I've seen snowboarder heads hit it. It's at a high school in Minnesota, and there's a couple other things you can do there too.
Yeah. Dude, any clip where you guys are on the roof, I love it, bro. I
Yeah,
just love it, man. It is just like, have you, okay, so this is a part, like, have you guys been run, the cops come up to you and be like, why the fuck are you guys on the roof of an elementary school right now? Like, what? And, like, how do you talk your way out of that? Because there's no way that it makes sense to these dudes that are pulling up thinking that you're breaking into an elementary school or, like, messing with the HVAC up there or something. Like, how do
dude,
you talk
right?
your way
I
out of
mean,
that?
like, depends on the spot. So, like, this is a school, you know, you're good on a weekend, most
Yeah.
likely. Like, who knows who's inside? So you take your chances. But like some spots, it'll be right off the road. So I don't know. Sometimes wearing a vest can be good, or maybe it's not the vibe wearing a vest. But I don't know. Just what were we like? What was the question again?
Just how do you talk your way out of that?
Oh yeah, I guess like you'll feel the vibe. You can like if it's like a janitor, you'll be like, yeah, man, like we're just out here playing with snow. And then if the cops come, you're just like, yeah, like we're skiing, like what's going on? And then they'll be like, yeah, we got a complaint from this person. It's always that's how it always starts. Somebody called us in, like, can you guys please leave?
Yeah.
But that's what you hope for, you know. And most of the time that does happen. And I don't like try to mess with spots where it says like no trespassing, or if it's in a zone you probably know you shouldn't be hitting it, then probably don't.
I don't know, dude. Some of the most like
Yeah.
insane spots ever, bro. I'm thinking like stepped hitting that rail like inside the Broncos stadium complex or like across the
Yeah,
street.
you can do that too, like on a blizzard day when
Yeah.
it's just like it's like an excuse of like when it's a blizzard, it's like, oh, look at those skiers playing in the snow. Like that's when you hit that. Like you
I
know,
like
if
that
it was
take
like
on
a
it. Yeah.
sunny day after the storm and stuff, or like you got to be quick at that. There's security always there. Like I've heard like they only get like an hour at the most, 30 minutes at that spot.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep this moving along. All right, our next clip, it's a clip from Delete that kind of comes out of nowhere because I think you already had your closer. Yeah, I mean, we'll quickly touch on the closer for your segment. This closer's insane, bro.
Yeah, that was I got that first try too. I couldn't believe it, and then I hit it a couple more times.
Yeah. So I mean, you have an insane closer, and the movie just cuts to you standing on a roof, just screaming, trying to get this roof to roof transfer. So, you want to give a little
I
story on
remember.
that? You got absolutely destroyed on the second hit when you go over the handlebars.
Yeah, I popped too hard. I remember like being in like just so much pain and like being like I know I got this, and dude, yeah, I don't even know. This spot's funny because I was so scared. You can see how scared I am. That's what we were talking about earlier, where you just got to do it and then get over the first try, and then you'll like be like, oh, I was too forward or too. I got to lean back and then go back and do it. So after I did it like two more times, like you can see me maybe cooling out a little bit, but like I was trying to amp myself up, like standing on top of that. If I've even just like lost my balance and fell off of there, that's what I was scared about.
Yeah, what was behind you on the roof?
Um, I actually like put the ladder up, and the funny thing about this clip is, Goo did it, and I didn't know he did it, and he did it the year before I did, because he's like filming for with the Zoot homies, and they've been saving a bunch of their clips, and they were gonna save it for their, I don't know, their long movie, but I didn't know, and then after I did it, I told Peebo, and he's like, "Oh, he did that. Like, this is how he did it, and like the way he did it, it's like so much respect to you. Like, goddamn, he did it without the ladder, bald head. Like, yeah, gee,
so bottom line is you guys were fine with this clip. Everyone was fine with this clip coming out of you just getting your shit rocked a couple times and then rocking it out with the bucket on too. That was a nice touch that you threw on the helmet for this last hit.
yeah. After doing two somersaults with my head in the ground, I was like, word, like, let's put some dome piece on for this.
Yeah, bro. This is nuts. So I actually do want to go back to this. I wasn't planning on talking about this clip for whatever reason, but this clip's insane. Again, hitting the probably some of the biggest spots that everyone there has seen people hit.
Yeah, the
Oh my God, bro. What
the
is wrong
ledge to
with you,
the
dude? What is wrong with you? This spot is crazy.
the ledge into the stairs. My original plan was to go there and hit the sewer like wall ride type deal, you know?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
then like I was like, oh, like I the in runs, I can just do that. So I ended up putting it piece together.
Dude, like yeah, 15 to 20 feet straight onto the stair set. God damn. Yeah, this angle of it's really good. This nice wide angle or like pulled back
Yeah,
angle.
shouts
Damn.
out to Breezy Spielberg.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
taking the
yeah,
full force of that landing and then just boom right to the wall rod. First try.
I did get it first try, and I just hit it a couple more times because it was sick. It was fun. And the speed was right, and the snow was, and yeah, sunny day. It was a good day.
Do you think about any other approach to that?
Yeah, my original plan was just to do the wall ride, but then I could get speed from up there and it'd be a lot sicker. So I was like, oh, I can just like pretty much, it's like dropping a cliff
Yeah.
into a wall ride.
But once you got that drop, were you thinking of doing anything else off that drop, or was that like, nah, that's too wild?
It was too quick in the stairs. Like you can see me, I'm pretty like backseat in the stairs. I was getting a little yeeted.
Yeah, I know, man. And you made it look pretty good. It looks.
So no, if I did something off that ledge, no chance.
You're funny, man.
That's like a spot where it just speaks for itself, you know. I like to hit spots like that where you don't really have to trick them. Just let the spot speak for itself.
Yeah, dude, I love that.
I was hyped. It ended up being sick and fun, and yeah, I like spots like that where you don't have to hit it 80 times and get upset.
Yeah. All right, sick. So we'll stop torturing the audio only people. We're back in podcast mode. Let's I mean, so those were all super recent, dude. Those all came out recently. Uh let's we'll take a viewer question since we just talked about two different crews. Ski Bum Barbecue, Ski Bum BBQ. Who's your favorite crew to ski with?
Oh, I mean, it honestly, it's I all my friends are my best friends, and it's a sunny day and it's popping, or even on a blizzard day or whatever, it's good. But yeah, I mean, I'm super hyped to have met Benny and Cal and all the rest of the child labor homies, and they're all good friends of mine as well. So, I mean, I love kicking it with them as well. Sick.
Yeah, that's great, man. Um, we got a couple more. Everyone loves to do it. What's your favorite of this? What's your favorite of that? So, Ryan Stevenson, what's your favorite place to ski and why?
Um,
We could do resort and urban if you want to.
I think my favorite place to ride is pretty much wherever there's powder, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I've been coaching up at Bird this year, so I've
Oh,
been skiing a lot of Alta and Snowbird and some of the I don't know. It's up there. Crested Butte's sick. It's hard to say. Little Ryan, Bridger Bowl is sick. Copper Mountain on a slushy park day. I don't know. It's fun.
yeah, that's tight. What's best urban city?
Probably Minnesota,
Hmm.
but we literally all like I don't know 3/4 of the clips from child labor produced from there, and so many other movies. And there's always new shit. Even I hit a new rail this year in
Hmm.
Minnesota. Like I think that's the zone. It stays cold. They got snow. Yeah.
That's tight. Um, Aaron, favorite type of rail?
um. Let's see. I think I like a nice, just flat down rail to sesh on, like in the park. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's so funny, man. I never know how many people want to hear the answers to those types of questions, but it's funny. Um, all right, Woodsman. Who would you say is pushing the street skiing game in the right direction?
Um, Definitely Emmett over at Vishnu. I support everything he's doing and his vision. He's helping out so many great urban skiers. And then obviously the Zoot Space guys, like, you got Sanch and Wealth and Kid and all the jet ski dudes, Patty, I mean, Sid, all those guys are insane. So, I mean, the way that their direction is going, I think that's the good direction.
Mhm.
Just keeping it core and fun and good vibe, good music, and good skiing, I guess.
Yeah, that's tight.
But
Um,
definitely the labor heads too.
yeah. Let's see. Uh, here's an interesting one because I wasn't able to figure this out when I was looking stuff up. Evan, he wants to know about the LOD crew, the LOD crew.
Oh yeah,
What is
those
this?
so like yeah, LOD crew, it's like anything abbreviated you could think of. So it could be like I think it would started out with all my high school homies and we loved the movie Lords of Dogtown.
Okay,
So
yeah,
we're like, we're the LOD crew, like, what's up? And then it kind of turned into like whatever abbreviation you can think of. So like could be like, you know, lots of like dope or like I don't know, whatever you can think of. Like it just turned into a joke, and those are all my good homies. So yeah,
yeah.
lots lots of dubs or LOD crew. Yeah.
So we'll get down to some of these last ones. So Egg, he fed me a couple. He fed me a couple prompts, but two of them, I think we covered one. I think we covered the gibberish one. So first one that I wanted to ask you about. He said, "Ask Seamus about the 100 milligram edible spot."
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty funny. Uh, I I thought I wasn't gonna be skiing that day and just kind of helping shovel at a spot, help Sam or Calvin or Pete or whatever. And we're like scoping for spots, and we came up on top of this garage building. It ended up being aluminum rail, and like with the B Dog ledgeless ski, you can hit the aluminum rails and stuff. And they're like, Shavo, like you got the skis for it right now, like you should do it. And I didn't tell him that I ate 100 milligrams. And I was like, yeah, we're here, like we're in Chicago, like yeah, let's do it. So we set up the spot. And I remember like being at the top of the end run and I was like, oh my God, like holy shit, I'm like here right now skiing. And I was like, yeah, you gotta focus, man. And then it's the flat rail closeout to down ledge. So I was hitting that spot. And after I got the clip, I told him, I was like, dude, like so stoned right now. They all were like, "How are you that high?" I just did that. It's, yeah, that's the 100 milligram spot for sure. I wasn't planning on skiing that day. I was planning on being stoned and shoveling and hanging out.
Dude, like I said earlier, the Seamus at the spot is scary to be around.
I didn't tell them because they probably would have been like, you probably shouldn't ski," or I didn't want them to say something like that.
Yeah, and it messes you up too. That's mad.
Yeah.
Then he also mentioned the Switch Rodeo 5 into glass bottles.
Yeah, like that bank was made out of glass. So I don't know, harvested snow above that thing and built a nice jump. And I've done switch right 5 into, I don't know, Keystone Breck jumps thousands of times. So I was like, word, like, let's just run this. I know I got that. And yeah, that I remember hitting it and sticking like a fly on the wall or something, whatever, and just rolling down. And we threw a little more snow and it ended up working. But yeah, that was hairy.
Yeah, that's funny, bro. Um, I don't know what this question meant either from Breezy, but I'll ask it to you. He said, "Are you staying warm?" Ba ding.
That's hilarious. And banged up. We were hitting the spot at night and like it was stupid cold. We were in Duluth. It was like -20 or something. And he like brings the camera to me and I'm like, we're staying warm. Bling ding whoa or something like that. And it's in the credits of Banged Up if you want to see the clip. But yeah, like that's a little joke when we're cold or if we're staying warm, we're like, we're staying warm.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Well, dude, that's like all the viewer questions I got, or like a lot of the ones that I want to touch on. Like I told you off the recording, on 1 hour of sleep, banged myself up pretty good at the mountain today, so we're a little scatterbrained. So I want to bring the episode to a conclusion in a way that makes sense for everybody, dude. So where do we leave it off? Where do we leave it off? Do we leave it off with the what's next for Seamus? Is that what you want to leave it off with? You want to plug anything? You want to like,
Uh,
spit some truth that you didn't get to spit yet? Like, how you want to leave us
no,
off?
thank you for asking. Not really. I just want to shout out to my brothers and mom and dad and family and Jibberish for sure. And thank you for Armada for helping me as well. And all my homies that back me and support me. And yeah, just like shouts out to like, who you are for sure. If you know who I am without my clout on Instagram, you know who I am.
Well, Seamus, dude, I want to thank you for coming on today. It was great to talk to you. And yeah, dude, just keep being scary, bro. Those clips are insane. So,
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Hell
yeah.
yeah. Thank you for having me, man. It was good to meet you too.